get the allocations from the previous secretariat. And I mean, we have
So the subsidized other than the respondents said that they will stop fishing completely when the price of permissible increases by 50%. At twice the prevailing cost of fuel, 75% of the fishermen said they will stop fishing entirely. The foregoing buttresses how crucial permissible subsidy is to the industry. Because of the mammoth subsidy on permissible, it has become an attractive avenue for nefarious individuals who seek to benefit through hoarding, smuggling, and allied illegalities like the use of permissible for light fishing. The digitization efforts. In continuation of the efforts to avert permissible diversion and its related ills, we have secured cabinet approval for the rollout of the automated permissible dispensing unit to help consolidate the efficient distribution and management of permissible achieved in the last years. The provision of an automated fuel dispensing and monitoring system for the sale of permissible is expected to complement existing government strategies being implemented to address the challenges associated with the allocation, distribution, and sale of permissible in Ghana. This will include the canoe identification system, which we are collaborating efficiently with the Fisheries Commission to run this program across the country. The automated fuel dispensing system will also consist of a dispensing control unit, fuel level sensors for monitoring the fuel levels, card utilization system for automation and access, web and mobile applications for monitoring and controlling all the system. And the automated fuel dispensing and monitoring system will be piloted in 50 landing beaches out of the 300 landing beaches across the 4 coastal and 2 lake regions. Having successfully launched the automated premise fuel dispensing unit at Nungwa in December 2019, it is the plan of the NPFS to see a national rollout soon. Already, the system has shown significant promise by curbing, to a great extent, the issue of premise fuel hoarding at Nungwa. Some of the benefits of the system as realized from the pilot phase include easy payment, effective tracking, transparency and payment flexibility, effective solving of perennial challenges like prolonged waiting time, low customer satisfaction, rush hour challenges, lack of trust and transparency, and general transaction hassles. In conclusion, while we are genuinely committed to holistically improving the premise fuel distribution, we are pleased to have the kind of interest and support displayed by ASEP, and thus commit to work with you and everyone connected to the sector to achieve this success. Many thanks, and thank you once again for your attention.
Subsidized by the consumer, and I mean that really happened at the London beaches, where people are supposed to benefit directly from the product. So transparency around how the product moves from the loading point to the actual delivery to the end users became important for us to interrogate and look into. And that is where the collaboration deepened between us and the secretariat to see how we can fix that. We saw an attempt to digitize some of the processes by experimenting with some of the London beaches, which we see as a workable solution to the challenges that we have in the supply chain. But again, progressing that and accelerating that process has been really slow. So part of this conversation will be how do we hasten that process of ensuring that we can effectively track how the product gets to the final consumer, in whose interest we actually subsidize the product. And also to understand how all of us can work to institutionalize transparency around how much we're using to subsidize the product and whether or not we could optimize it to ensure that we save the broader consumer some revenue through efficiency, because people pay the subsidy at the pump, and I understand that up to 50% of what we contribute to the price stabilization levy actually goes to subsidize the premix fuel. So if we don't optimize that and ensure transparent accountability on how much goes to subsidize the product, we may be paying more than we actually should. So we are interested in deepening conversation around transparency in how we disperse the subsidy to the space, and ultimately to ensure that we can get the product to the official folks at a cheaper or regulated price, as has been agreed by the NPA. So on this note, I want to thank you for coming, and I hope that the engagement here will just be the beginning of trying to find a lasting solution to how we optimize the value chain and ensure efficient supply of products from the lifting point to the final consumer, and be able to eliminate the inefficiencies that exist in the entire value chain. So I thank you very much for participating.
Is to engage the secretariat, the National Premix Secretariat, to look at ways to curb illicit trade of the premix fuel. As you do know, the fuel is highly subsidized. MPS says up to 73% of the cost of the product is actually borne by the state, and by extension, consumers of petroleum products. So people take advantage of that to trade the product illicitly. So instead of sending it to the landing beaches, it ends up either at the pump or for other users such as power generation or light fishing, or for Okada, driving riders and the rest of it. So what we have been trying to do is to collaborate with the Secretariat to ensure that we can facilitate a transition from the manual processes to an automated system that allows us to track where the products are going and also the dispensing of the product. At the landing beaches, the challenge we have had over the period is that you have people hoarding the product. When the product gets to the landing beaches, they will go and procure the product in large volumes and then sell the product at a margin or higher than what the state had as regulated it should be sold for. So they make a margin and then they deprive the fisher folks of the price at which they are supposed to buy the product. So we are pushing for automation of the processes across all the landing beaches, so that through the automation we'll be able to track how much products these fisher folks need, and also be able to track who actually need the product, working with Fisheries Commission to actually identify the boats that needs the product, and also identify the functional boat, not just every boat, but boats that actually go to the sea or to the river bodies to fish. So these are the dynamics that we are pushing for us to be able to automate the processes. A conversation today really looked at what has been done with the pilot, and you heard the fisher folks acknowledging that automating the process has really helped. But again, also we learned that there are challenges that we need to resolve into the future. For example, how do you ensure that if somebody has access to a quota or a card, that person will use it to go and fish, so that if the person is not fishing, he or she can be blocked from using the card to access the product. And also, if you move from one landing beach to the other, which happens very often with the fisher folks, how are you able to still procure using the same card that you have on your account, so that it can be transmitted within a system that you are buying the same quantity that are being allocated to you. So these are solutions that we are proposing. We're going to still have to work with NPA and the secretariat to ensure that we can resolve the technology challenges and also deployment concerns. Who finances it? How much is it? Those are the outstanding issues that we really need to work together on to ensure that as quickly as possible we can automate the processes.